Time now for business news with Delana D'Souza.
Good morning, Nancy.
Good morning, Delana. Well, let me guess. We're going to start talking about the pullout of the TPP by the United States.
That's right. One of your headlines this morning. On his first working day in office, U.S. President Donald Trump signaled protectionism would be front and center of his economic vision. On Monday, he warned businesses of a, quote, very major border tax should they move production overseas. Now that President Trump has made his intention to withdraw the U.S. from the Trans-Pacific Partnership official, attention has shifted to other trade deals that could either see alteration or find themselves on the chopping block. Brian Quinn reports.
With the stroke of a pen, Donald Trump ushering in what many see as a new era of American economic protectionism. As the U.S. withdraws from the Trans-Pacific Partnership, many world leaders accustomed to U.S.-led trade deals are looking at contingency plans. President Enrique Peña Nieto of Mexico, which is a party not only to the TPP but also to the soon-to-be renegotiated NAFTA, says his country will hedge its bets.
In front of the evident difficulty to make the TPP a reality, Mexico will immediately start conversations to generate new bilateral trade deals with countries participating in this treaty.
The Comprehensive Economic and Trade Agreement, or CETA, signed in October, would remove almost all customs duties between Canada and the EU when ratified. After Trump's executive order, EU Trade Commissioner Cecilia Malmström says it's now more important than ever. Not all European leaders are alarmed, though. Hungary's Viktor Orban, himself a proponent of protectionist measures, cheered Trump's position.
The key sentence of Trump's speech was not the one about putting America first, but the one saying every nation has the right to put itself first. This is the big change. This means that multilateralism is over and bilateralism has come in.
The TPP, which excluded China, was intended in large part as a bulwark to Chinese economic power in Southeast Asia. Many analysts believe its possible collapse will likely strengthen the RCEP, an alternative agreement which is led by China.
Now, as Brian Quinn mentioned in that report, the North American Free Trade Agreement, or NAFTA, is also in the U.S. president's crosshairs. The deal with Canada and Mexico was crafted by former U.S. President Bill Clinton. Donald Trump ran his campaign on the argument that NAFTA pushed jobs out of the United States. Despite this protectionist stance, Mexico's President Enrique Peña Nieto says the deal must remain intact. Take a listen.
We must preserve free trade between Canada, the USA and Mexico. Trade between the three countries must be exempt from any tariff or quota, as has been the case since 2008. We want to strengthen the competitiveness of North America and its regional supply chains by increasing Mexican export to the USA and Canada on the basis of healthy competition and the development of higher value-added sectors.
Donald Trump will be meeting with the heads of General Motors, Ford and Fiat Chrysler this Tuesday. The U.S. president will be listening to their ideas on how more jobs can be returned to the United States. Now, during the campaign and after winning the presidency, Donald Trump criticized automakers for building cars in Mexico and other countries. He's even threatened to impose a 35% tariff on imported vehicles.
Well, last week, the British Prime Minister laid out her intention for a new trading relationship with countries outside of Europe. Tell us more.
That's exactly right, Nancy. Theresa May making good on that promise. The UK hasn't officially triggered its exit from the EU, but the British Prime Minister will be the first foreign leader to meet the new US president. Trade is expected to top the agenda with Donald Trump. Now, Theresa May's office has also signaled a visit to the world's second largest economy will be taking place very soon. The UK is starting to view China as an economic ally, with the US President Donald Trump's growing skepticism of free trade. Let's take a look at some of the other stories we're tracking for you now. And despite the Note 7 recalls, fourth quarter profits more than double at Samsung. The earnings were powered by strong sales in the chip business and smartphone division. The company signaled higher marketing costs and weaker TV sales will likely push earnings lower in the current quarter. The $4.8 billion acquisition of Yahoo by Verizon will likely be delayed. This after the internet company disclosed 2 data breaches since the deal was announced last July. Despite cost-cutting efforts at Yahoo, net revenue slipped once again, extending a downturn that has lasted through most of Marissa Mayer's tenure as chief executive. And internet retailer Amazon has been subpoenaed by the world's 3 largest textbook publishers. Cengage Learning, Pearson Education, and McGraw-Hill want the company to reveal names and account information of online vendors. Now, over 100 Amazon sellers are being sued for copyright infringement. This after selling counterfeit books at prices that are simply too good to be true.
And finally, how are the markets doing today, Delano?
Well, over in Asia at this hour, it's a mixed picture. The Nikkei in Japan ended the session in negative territory, down over 0.5%, as you can see on your screens. Modest gains, meanwhile, on the Shanghai Composite and the Hang Seng over in Hong Kong at this hour. Both indices trading in the green, up around 0.2%. That's it for the business news. I'll hand it back to you, Nancy.
All right, thanks, Delano. Lots to think about.